Hello, my lovelies. How are you? Have you missed me? I know it's been ages since I've blogged, either with a video blog or a written blog. And the reason for that is, well, there's a bunch of reasons for that that are probably really incredibly boring and you don't care about at all. But I did finish my research project proposal, and I got bronchitis for a week, and so I was like down with this horrible plague thing that was going on, and I was working to do a bunch of other things, so it just got away from me. But I'm back. Today I want to talk to you about something that's sort of come up, and it's sort of like one of those things, I guess, where you hear a new word or a word you haven't heard in a long time, and then suddenly you see it everywhere. You know how that happens? So this has happened a couple of times, and I wanted to talk about it because it's one of these things that keep coming up and up and up. I hear or I read comments on blogs, or I see comments on writers' forums or whatever, where so-and-so says, well, my agent didn't do this, or my agent didn't do that, or it's taking this amount of X amount of time to get this done. Why aren't things happening faster? And so I want to talk a little bit about what happens when you get into publishing and you've written well enough that you're ready to submit to publishers. Here's the thing. You need to have patience. Patience is a virtue, and it's a hard lesson to learn for some of us, me included, I know. But what you really need to recognize is the fact is that publishing is one of the very few industries that is still run by people, pretty much from beginning to end. Now, we have labor-saving, time-saving devices that have come into publishing, like we no longer type our manuscripts on manual typewriters. Thank God. Thank God. I don't think I would write anything if I had to type it on a manual typewriter. We don't print out our entire manuscript and put it in a box and pay $25 to ship it to an editor or an agent. Again, thank God. Because when I first started submitting to publishers, that's what we had to do. And it was such a pain, and it was expensive. So there's a trade-off for this. Now we submit a lot of things electronically. We use the internet for pretty much everything. I know editors and agents that read on their Kindle, Nook, Android tablet, e-reader, whatever. And so they get to save a lot of paper and hauling manuscripts around them. It's good for everybody. Everybody wins. But the problem is that because it's so easy now, you have 10 times the number of people submitting to agents and publishers. So, well, yes, it gets there faster. It doesn't guarantee that it's going to get read any faster than it would have in the old days. So it's a trade-off, but really I think it's a wash. I think it really is a wash. Here's the thing. You need to have patience because, I know you want to be published like yesterday, but you are not the only writer on the planet who's submitting to that agent or that publisher. I know. It's terrible. You have to think about it, but you're really not. They get hundreds of submissions a day, let alone a month or a year or whatever. So, you have to realize that when you submit to that agent, and this is where it starts, it's a submission stage, that you're going to have to wait. Some places longer than others. Some places you're going to get a real quick rejection from, and hey, you got a quick answer, so don't cry about it. Excuse me. And some places you're going to wait 6 months, 8 months, a year. And I'm not even kidding. Usually it's a bigger place that still takes unagented or unsolicited submissions that you're going to wait that long at, but you're going to wait that long. And I'm not kidding. I waited upwards of 8 months for a reply from an agent, and I knew that this particular agent at that time was moving across country, and she was moving into a new house and all these other things. And you know what? It's okay, because agents have lives too. And that's just the way it is. And so when you get your agent, a lot of people think, wow, I'm on the fast track now. I've got the golden ticket. I'm right in there. I can avoid the lines. It's kind of like getting that pass at Disney where you avoid the lines and get on the ride. It's not. Here, it's my next point, and I've been hearing a lot about this. My agent, or this agent, had my book and couldn't sell it. Well, and invariably, I hear this complaint from very new writers who have not been in publishing an extremely long time, or really just don't get it. And it's okay, we were all new ones, no problem. But really, you have to understand is that just because you have an agent now doesn't mean you're going to get a publishing contract in 3 months or 6 months or 6 weeks or, whatever kind of timeline you have set on it. Again, your agent is a busy person. Okay, so you're not her only client or his only client. And so here's what I want to say to those newbie writers. Patience. You need to really understand how things work. And if you don't know, ask your agent, because, unless they're like a real gargoyle of an agent, and I don't know too many that are, most of them are really, really great people willing to help you. Ask them the question nicely. Can you explain this to me? What's going on here? And they'll tell you what to expect. And they're not evil people. But here's the thing. A, you're not their only client. So they have you and all their other clients' manuscripts to deal with. And they have to get them to the proper editor, because that's their job, is to find an editor that they know would probably like to see your work and everybody else's work. They have to read the hundreds of manuscripts that come into their submission pile. They have to do contract things. They have to help other clients or help you with editing maybe. There's a million other things that they do. They're not sitting around all day making calls about you. I know, it's insane, but that's what happens. So, the editors, on the other hand, also don't have just your manuscript to look at and think about, all right? And I'm going to tell you that waiting 6 months to hear back from an editor is no big thing. No big thing. Don't worry about it. 6 months is not unusual, even if you have an agent. And here's why. Editors also have more to do, like I said, than look at your manuscript. They have your manuscript to look at and the other 25 complete manuscripts to look at that they've been sent by other agents, and they have to read through the entire manuscript. And if your manuscript's 100,000 words and 25, that's 250,000 words they have to read. That's 250,000 words they got to read for 25 manuscripts that are 100,000 words. Do the math. Think about how long that would take. Okay, so they're reading your manuscript and all the other manuscripts. They're also doing their job. They're editing. Okay, they actually have to make money by putting out books, so that's what they spend most of their time doing. They're editing the books they've already contracted. And the other side of that is, so, okay, this editor really loves your book, tells your agent, I really love this book. That doesn't mean it's a done deal. The editor in most big houses does not have to say so to just hand you a contract and a cash. It just doesn't work that way. It has to go to your acquiring editor has to go to a committee, who has to go to the bean counters, who have to do a profit and loss statement, who have to, they have to figure out whether or not your book is going to be a good choice. Because they have to risk the money to put it out, whether or not they're going to make their money back or whether they're going to make a profit on your book. Really, it goes through all this stuff. So even if the editor that your agent picks really loves your manuscript, it could be another 3 months before it gets to committee. It's just the way it is, all right? So really you need to understand all this stuff when you're harping on how your agent isn't doing anything for you. And I've seen it happen time and time again. I've been reading things on the internet and listening to people go, oh, well, she's had it for blah, blah, blah time, and I haven't heard anything happen yet. I actually read one thing where an author said, she's had it for 2 months. And I'm like, really? Really? 2 months is about a minute in publishing time. It's things move really slow in this business. You know how long it took you to write your book? It's going to take a really long time to get every little step down. So don't sweat it. Learn to be patient. That is my lesson for you today, my lovelies. Patience is a virtue. Your agent is not out to, leave you hanging, and I'll tell you why. Because your agent, first of all, she needs to eat too. So she wants to sell your manuscript because she wants, she loves your book. She loves it, or she wouldn't have signed you as a client. But she also doesn't get paid until you get paid. So she wants to sell that book for you. She's got to do it if she wants the money. And that's her business. Editors and agents need to eat. And so she's not going to leave you hanging out there with nothing, leaving you hanging in the wind. At some point, not every manuscript sells. That does occasionally happen. But you can, if you trust your agent and you think, wow, this is really what I'm going to do, I'm going to let her do her thing, then you need to learn to just suck it up, Buttercup, and go write your next book. Okay? Check in with her once in a while. Make sure that you think she's doing the right thing. And not every agent is perfect and wonderful. I realize that. I'm going to get all these comments and say, well, my agent, da 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 da. Fine, whatever. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect system. But don't start crying when it's been 6 weeks since your manuscript went out on submission and you don't have a contract in your hand. Because they don't have to smack you. I just will, because that's just dumb. It very rarely happens that things sell that quickly. Sometimes, but not always. Again, this is a weird business, and welcome to it. All right? Okay, lovelies, I will talk to you again next time. Have a great day. Bye.